That insight, man, you got some insight. Now, you don't talk quarterbacks with me. You better mention Joe Montana, huh? Did I tell you this is Joe's year? Joe's year. Big year for Joe.
I am so sick and tired of you sucking up to him. You never talk about the defense. Sure, he's the backbone of that team. The heart and soul of that group, though, is Derek Thomas and Neil Smith, and you know it.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. I'm saying I know that. You know what? You know, I just might as well go ahead and ride my horse to work. I mean, if my horse can find the studio, then why can't you? Unbelievable. Oh, dang.
Say I didn't warn you.
Hey, don't worry. Don't worry. There's never been a ticket written I can't talk my way out of.
Look, trust me on this. This is California. That big man in town routine's not going to work.
We'll see. Highway Patrol. Tough guy. I'll show him. Howdy, officer. How you doing?
License and registration, please.
Oh, you bet. Got him right here. You got him right there. Now you have him. Not a very good picture of me right here. It's a little outdated, but as you can see, I really am Terry Bradshaw. Winner of 4 Super Bowl championships. I have my own television show. You've probably seen it Sunday mornings, Fox NFL Sunday. So, I mean, you don't really think it's necessary, do you, that you write that ticket?
Listen, man, this is Hollywood. Who doesn't have a series? Say, aren't you Howie Long?
Yeah. How you doing, officer?
Thought I recognized you. I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, thank you very much.
Have been for years.
I appreciate it. You have a good day.
Separate the contenders from the pretenders. And those with the guts go for the glory. Today in Washington, Atlanta's rising star tries to torch Washington's wily Darryl Green, while the Skins' Freeze keeps sizzling. And Ellard, he's hotter than ever. The Rams christened Chandler at quarterback. For the undefeated Chiefs, if Joe doesn't beat you to the punch, Derek and Neil will beat you to a pulp. Hardy's got the power to juice the Bucks, while the Pack Attack can still crunch, even if the Pack-a-row gets squeezed.
I got it.
The struggling Saints would like nothing better than to bring a little joy to Morris' face and wipe that silly little grin off of prime time. Hey, look, Terry and Howie just made it back in time to help James and Jimmy put the pedal to the metal. Live from our Hollywood studios, it's Fox NFL Sunday.
Free agent quarterback John Freeze's on-the-field performance has kept the high-priced Heath Schuler on the bench. Freeze will be at the helm today as the Redskins play host to the Atlanta Falcons. And hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us once again here on Fox NFL Sunday. The NFC East, except Washington, is off this week, but our team never gets a bye week. Joining me, the very, very familiar face, lighter in the wallet, Terry Bradshaw. How much did it cost you, by the way?
Well, I tried to, $150.
150 bucks?
Yep.
Here's a guy who's recognizable, looking like he's getting ready for a board meeting. He's got a tie today.
Yeah, IBM called today.
IBM, I love
Take that job.
Speaking of calling, and also joining us from down in South Florida, Jimmy Johnson, who has a shirt that's just a little more toned down this week. Jimmy, what happened to the bright one, buddy?
Well, I got word from the top. They said, check it in.
The top means Terry Bradshaw. Okay, fellas, there's a lot happening in the NFL this week for us, so let's get right to it. One of the teams making the most noise and news this week isn't even playing a game. The winless Arizona Cardinals have a bye. Now, last week, head coach Buddy Ryan yanked starting quarterback Steve Berline. The Cards were shut out behind Jim McMahon and Jay Schrader. Berline, who was inactive for the game, had a lot to say after it.
Switching quarterbacks is not the answer. There's a lot of problems offensively that we have. But we've got to get better across the board. There's no doubt about it. We are not the same offense we were last year, no matter what Coach Ryan says or what anybody else says.
Could be 3.
Who would you get rid of?
Oh, you never know. Those cancers are. Get them before they spread.
Ooh, boy, that's some very tough talk, which is leaving Coach Ryan shopping for a quarterback. Ex-Giant Phil Simms is at the top of the list. Now, the Cardinals plan to resume negotiations soon. The main sticking point, however, is Simms' desire for a 2-year commitment. Considering their slow start, Sims believes the Cardinals may be a year away from a Super Bowl appearance. Yesterday, Sims told his ex-teammate and Cards quarterback coach Matt Cavanaugh that he definitely does want to play again. Let me turn now and talk with Jimmy Johnson down in Florida. Jimmy, you talked with Buddy Ryan yesterday. What's going on in Arizona with both Berline and the Phil Simms talk?
Well, JB, I talked to Buddy and his wife, Joni. Joni said the people in Arizona, they're going to have to be patient. I said, well, with Buddy, they're going to have to be patient because that's the way he is. Now, as far as the quarterback situation, you know, Buddy said Berline's his quarterback down the road. Right now, he doesn't know whether or not he's going to play Schrader, Berline, or even the Simms thing. Now, with Simms, I talked to Bob Ackles just a little over an hour ago, and they said they've got $1 million on the table for Phil Simms, but he wants more money than that.
I got to tell you, Jimmy, this is how you know, the thing to me is you're going to start Jay Schrader. I've been through this before with Berline and Schrader. I like Berline as a quarterback. Jay Schrader can throw the deep ball, but he can't throw anything else. He's the kind of guy you want to marry your daughter, but you don't want him quarterbacking the team. The defensive players talking about throwing him off the plane one time.
Ooh. Were you one of those defensive players?
No, I was the guy I was the level-headed guy that calmed it down.
Jimmy, don't you think, and this is the way it appears to me, don't you think that Buddy Ryan, after all that bold talk, you got a winner in town, you got this, you got that, boy, they sold all those seats, and then all of a sudden they start out 0-3. Doesn't it appear to you that Buddy is now pointing fingers right at his quarterback, Berline, and saying, here's the reason, here's our cancer?
Well, there's no question Buddy's disappointed the whole offense, and then it starts at the quarterback. But, you know, Buddy said, you know, he was disappointed with Berline's arm strength, and Steve doesn't have a real strong arm, but I said he's got intangibles. The biggest thing, though, they've got to run the football. When Berline went in the lineup for us, when Troy Aikman got injured a couple of years ago, we started running Emmitt Smith about 30 times a ball game. That helped Steve Berline. They've got to get the running game going.
Hey, Jimmy, I'll tell you, going into the season, you know, the thing in Arizona to me was they had shuffled that offensive line so much. And as you know, continuity is a big part of the offensive line play. It's disappointing to me that Steve Berline's being judged. I think in the first 2 games, the guy got hit 20 or 30 times. I mean, no quarterback is going to survive in that kind of system. The offensive line's not playing well, and it's directly attributed to him shuffling that group in the preseason.
And, you know, if Buddy is saying that Berline doesn't have the strong arm he thought he has, I'm wondering if he truly is the quarterback down the road for him.
Change the system.
Hey, I
change it. That's the guy that's going to win for you. Change it and make it work for you. Don't fight it. Change it.
Okay. Hey, while we got Jimmy worked up talking about coaching a little bit, Jimmy, there have been reports this week linking you with the Los Angeles Rams that either you or your representatives have talked with the Rams. What's the situation there?
Well, JB, of course, you know, we don't want to make this thing a soap opera, but, you know, I think everybody knows that teams have talked to my attorney and myself here in the past. There have been no serious negotiations. There's been no negotiations. There's nothing imminent, no serious talks. And so, you know, I like what I'm doing right now. I'm not even going to make a decision on this thing, whether or not I'm even going to go back into football until toward the end of the year. And anybody that makes a statement saying that something is serious with me, they are dead wrong.
What's it cost to heat that pool, Jimmy?
Hey, down in the Keys, you don't have to heat it. It's heated.
Well, we know a lot of money's being thrown around. We'll keep pressing Jimmy about that anyway, though. Okay, Jimmy, we'll be getting back to you in just a bit, buddy. All right, now it's time for our Fox Watch, a fast-paced look at the early games you'll be watching today. And let's start by saying hello to Joe Buck, who'll be calling the Rams and Chiefs game from Arrowhead Stadium. Joe?
JB, while Jimmy Johnson does the old Texas two-step, we'll talk about the situation here in Kansas City. Right on cue, the sun is out, and we are ready for football. The story today, the quarterbacks. First of all, Joe Montana for Kansas City left practice yesterday, a little under the weather. The flu has racked this Kansas City Chiefs team all week. He left with medication. It is not out of his system. He took fluids intravenously this morning, but he is out, ready, smiling, ready to go and take on the Rams today. And for the Rams, the story, also the quarterback, it's Chris Chandler this afternoon. It will not be Chris Miller, who's out with a pinched nerve in his shoulder. Chris Chandler, a golden opportunity to establish himself as the main man in Los Angeles. There's grass on the field. It's a cool day in Kansas City. It feels like football. What's going on up in Green Bay? We send it up to Kenny Albert. Kenny.
Well, Joe, despite the early morning rains, the tailgaters out in full force here at Lambeau Field for the Battle of the Bays. And the operative word today is injuries. The former Packer tight end Jackie Harris, now with the Buccaneers, listed as questionable. He told us last night he will play. Now, 3 of his teammates will not. Eric Curry's cousin with the Packers is Guy McIntyre. He is also out of today's game. McIntyre's teammate, star defensive end Leroy Butler, with pneumonia, missed the game last week. He will not play. Butler said during the week when he was in the hospital, he felt like he was going to die. He said it also felt like 340-pound offensive lineman Paul Hutchins was sitting on his chest. Now let's go to Dick Stockton in Washington. Dick?
All right, Kenny, and the Atlanta Falcons have played the Redskins 10 times here at RFK Stadium, and they have beaten 10 times. They're looking to change that today. But I'll tell you, how often have you heard a coach say we want to establish the running game? Throw that out the window. This is going to be an aerial show from the get-go. And Jeff George, the quarterback of the Falcons, will be licking his chops because he's going to be facing a depleted Redskins secondary. How bad is it? Well, Alan Grant was signed this week as a free agent. Last week, he was in training as a fireman in Atlanta. That's how bad it is for the Washington Redskins in the secondary. As far as injuries, Reggie Brooks, the Redskins running back, is okay. He will play. As far as the Falcons go, their defensive tackle Pierce Holt is out of there, but Chris Dolman is back in action after missing one game. And JB, better get the calculator ready. May need it for this game coming up.
Hey, Dick, I've got it working. Thank you very much, buddy, and enjoy the game today. Well, that's a look at what's happening around the National Football League. Here's what's on tap for today's show.
Today on Fox, the moment a hero-hungry nation has been longing for. Howie goes looking for a few good men. Not the biggest, not the strongest, and not the fastest, and definitely not the prettiest. Meet the few, the proud, the Howie Long tough guys. Lonnie Lardner discovers a different kind of hero, a bear of a man who's helping to shape tomorrow by shaping children's minds today.
We all have something inside of us that can benefit other people. This just happens to be my way.
On the field, these Kansas City Saxters are every quarterback's worst nightmare. Off the field, our favorite ex-QB finds out the real truth.
When he first came, I kind of like took him under my wing. That's how
That I can understand. Look at those wings.
Coming up, coming at you, only on Fox NFL Sunday.